Good morning, everybody, or whatever time of day it is for you, and welcome back to my channel. Or if it's your first time, welcome especially. I'm Sally, and today we are just hanging out. I want to have kind of a cozy day together. I'm going to be prepping some of my pro-metabolic staples, things that I like to have around just during the week to grab to throw into a meal or for a quick snack. I want to show you some of my non-toxic favorites, and I'm also going to, I think, head to the library here in just a second. I want to share a few books that I've been loving recently, and then a little bit later I'm going to make some dark chocolate kind of pistachio brown butter cookies, which I guess fit in with the food prep sort of thing, but that's a special recipe that I've been eyeing and I'm excited to make. But before anything else, I want to show you one of those non-toxic favorites that I mentioned. If you saw me unboxing something at the beginning of this video and were wondering what that was, it was new filters for my zero water pitcher. And this is not sponsored or anything, but I don't know about you, but for me, I was looking for a water filter that was going to do a good job but not break the bank. And honestly, that whole topic can get really deep really quick. There's a lot of complexity to it, and of course you want to find a filter that's going to actually do a good job, but then beyond that, finding one that fits your home setup and your budget can be a big thing. So since we're renting right now, I didn't want to get a system that was going to install into the sink. Berkeys take up a lot of space. Lately, I've actually had questions about how well they're really working, because I don't think they do a great job of removing fluoride from the water. Maybe I'm getting mixed up, but there are certain things that they really don't remove from the water that I want removed, and they're pretty expensive. But I heard about the zero water pitcher, and I'll flip my camera around right here. I actually pulled up what they say on their website, but I did independent research before purchasing it. I just found this really helpful. They are the only, here it is right here, altogether, they are the only like pour in water pitcher that removes like 99.6% of total dissolved solids. I looked it up separately. They do remove chlorine and fluoride. It's like 99, I think, percent of chlorine, and then like a little bit lower, I think it was 91% of fluoride in the water. And they actually come with this handy dandy meter so that you can test the water and know exactly, throwing things per usual, just know exactly when you need to replace your filter. I will link this filter in the description box. I'm totally blanking right now on the overall price, but look, we can look right here. I want to say it didn't cost more than about $50. Yeah, not even that much. That's the one I have right here. It's $44.99, and I believe that came with 2 different filters, and then I just get replacements. I get 4 for like $50, and they last a good while. Really serves me well. I just keep it in my fridge, and was thinking that maybe some of y'all would benefit from the same thing. Again, gets out fluoride, chlorine, other total dissolved solids, and I also, this is what I was going to say, it reduces significantly the PFOS and PFOAs in the water, which is very uncommon in a filter like this where you are pouring the water through. So go check it out. I'll leave the link in the description box. And now that I've shown y'all that, I think I'm going to run to the library real quick, and then we'll get to some meal prepping. We are back from the library. I made myself a little hot chocolate. I have one of these almost every day. Great way to just refuel, but also get some calcium and magnesium in. And I want to show you the books I have been enjoying recently, starting with this one. This is the nonfiction piece that I have been in the midst of. It is The Omnivore's Dilemma by Michael Pollan. It has taken me a long time to read this book, but I am so glad I'm finally doing it. I've actually referenced it a number of times just throughout college and like academic writing, and I think also even in high school, I wrote a speech that referenced an excerpt of this book. But first of all, look at the cover. Is that not so beautiful? Many of you have probably heard of it before, but the subtitle, A Natural History of 4 Meals, and I love what is said on the back. It says, today, buffeted by one food fad after another, America is suffering from what can only be described as a national eating disorder. Will it be fast food tonight, or something organic, or perhaps something we grew ourselves? The question of what to have for dinner has confronted us since man discovered fire, but as Michael Pollan explains in this revolutionary book, how we answer it now at the dawn of the 21st century may determine our survival as a species. Packed with profound surprises, the omnivore's dilemma is changing the way Americans think about the politics, perils, and pleasures of eating. And I think that was a review from the Washington Post. But all that goes to say, I've heard really wonderful things about this book, and in the little bit I've read so far, it's really just breaking down how the food system is so much more complicated than we make it out to be. But at the same time, so much of it is pointing back in the same direction. And it doesn't matter what labels are on the food we're eating and the branding. Like, so much of that is just marketing. It's not based on anything, but also titles that are like held by the government, even when it comes to organic. Like, understanding what that really means and where it actually makes a difference. Anyways, I think it's going to be a really great resource, and I'm still in the part of the book where we're like in the midst of the turmoil, but from his introduction, he does say that there is like a hopeful narrative throughout. So excited to unpack that more. And then I just wanted to share a couple like fantasy series that I've been enjoying. This is the second book in the Red Queen series. I just reread Red Queen, but I don't actually own it. That's why I'm showing you this one, which is something I think I read a couple years ago. Really enjoyed it. But it is a dystopian novel, kind of set in a world where there are people with 2 different colors of blood. There are people who have red blood, who are like normal people, and then people who have silver blood, who are have like super strength and superpowers of different kinds. And then there's one girl who has red blood, who has unexplained powers. And that sounds really tacky when I explain it, but I've really enjoyed this, and so I wanted to share it with y'all. Let me know if you've read any of these, what you think. And then lastly, what I picked up from the library is A Court of Frost and Starlight. This is the 4th book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series, which I've really been enjoying. It's kind of taken the world by storm recently, I realize, but it's by Sarah J. Maas. And like I said, been super enjoying this series. It is pretty spicy at different points, I will say. Don't always want my brain there, or really don't ever want my brain to be there, need my brain to be in that place, so I will definitely skip kind of past a few parts, but as a whole, really wonderful, just this beautifully imaginative world, and takes me back to just being a kid and getting so engrossed in a book that I can't put it down. So I hope that might give you a little bit of inspiration on what to read next. I would love to know what books you have been loving in the comment section. Let me know. And sorry for the little side rail we just took. Let's prep some food. We're back in the kitchen. The first thing I want to prep are some hard-boiled eggs. And I know this does not sound exciting, but I love having a few hard-boiled eggs on hand for early mornings, a little bit of protein, a little bit of fat. And today I think we're going to throw some on a salad as well to make a quick lunch. So these are so pretty, are they not? They're from Costco, actually. They're selling heirloom eggs now that are blue, and they have a very vibrant orange yolk. So I just put a little bit of water in my pan, enough to cover like part of the egg. This is a tip that I actually learned from, hold on, let me get the camera settled down. There we go. This is a tip that I actually learned from Melina Ciciotti, why can't I get her name right? Where you're not covering the eggs all the way, and it's similar to if you're doing it in the Instant Pot. It's really steaming the eggs instead of just outright boiling them, which is going to help prevent the shell from sticking. So I'm covering that. I think I'm going to cook them for about 10 minutes. So the yolk is mostly cooked through, but just a little bit soft. While our eggs are boiling, I'm going to make some gelatin gummies. I normally make these with cherry juice. That's my go-to, but I have pineapple juice on hand. We had pineapple pizza last night and had some of the juice remaining. So I am gonna try that out instead. First thing we need to do is just bloom our gelatin. I have about half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of juice here, so I'm probably gonna add 2.5 scoops of gelatin. It is not an exact science, but if you want a more concrete recipe, feel free to check out one of my other gelatin gummy recipes. But we're gonna let this bloom. Helps the gelatin to dissolve evenly, and then we'll add a few other ingredients. If you're looking for some high quality but affordable beef gelatin powder, this is grass-fed, pasture-raised by Zen Principle. You actually get it on Amazon. Again, it's affordable, it's high quality. I will link it in the description box below. It's about 5 minutes later, and you can see that most of our gelatin has dissolved. It's very worm-like. I know it looks funny, but at this point, I'm going to turn the heat on to about medium, and I'm keeping this recipe super simple. Just going to add a couple other ingredients, and then I'll whisk it all together. So this will totally liquefy once the heat kicks in. But I'm just going to add a little bit of honey, if I can show you properly. There we go. A little bit of honey, and then a little bit of salt. Once it's all liquefied, I think I'm also going to add just a splash of cream. Hold on, if I can even get the honey out of here. So I'm just gonna let those gummies cool partially on the counter before putting them in the fridge. I'll show you the end result and let you know how they taste. Eggs, I just, as you saw, cooled them with cold water from the tap to make sure they stopped cooking, and honestly, that's the long and short of the food prep for today. As you saw at the beginning, I did feed my sourdough starter. Probably at some point today I'm going to start a batch of sourdough, but I don't know that I'm going to put that in this video. I did, however, make a full sourdough video. If you want to watch that process from beginning to end, I can link it right here. And I will pick you back up in a little bit and we will make those cookies together. That's what I'm most excited for. It's time to bake, but first I have to show you two things. First is, here's one of the gummies. They're super, super thin because I was not working with much juice, but turned out pretty tasty. I would add probably a little bit less honey next time, and I want it to be just a little bit more acidic. So honestly, might throw in a little bit of orange juice as well, or maybe just more pineapple juice, but nice little way to mix it up. And the second thing is, before we cook, we need to have a clean work surface, and I had run out of my multi-purpose cleaner, so I have just whipped up some more, and I want to share that with you as another one of my non-toxic essentials. This is so easy and so cheap, you will never go back. But I've gone ahead and mixed about 3/4 of a cup of white vinegar with about a cup of water, and then just a good old squirt of Dawn dish detergent. You don't need more than a teaspoon or two. And then the real kicker are the essential oils that I'm going to add. I'm using plant therapy oils. My mom is honestly the expert on this. She's done a lot of research, if it'll focus on the different essential oil brands, which ones are safe, which ones are pure. And a lot of the times when it comes to essential oils, they really aren't as pure or safe as they're marketing themselves to be, and where they're coming from is not necessarily the best. So this is a brand that really does a good job with that, really high quality products, potent products, and I like to use these three in particular: tea tree, lemon, and sweet orange in my cleaner. So I have my exact recipe right here. It's saved to an Instagram highlight, but it's not exact once again. I, however, like to put about 15 drops of sweet orange, 25 drops of tea tree, 30 drops of lemon. I'll do that, I'll give it a little shake, and we'll wipe down the counter and get it baking. I will also put a link in the description for these essential oils.